nomination in the new 3rd District of Iowa going forward, Congressman Tom Latham.
Mike, a great introduction. Now, I'll be moving around here so the Democrat cameraman has to work for it. Anyway, Ryan, it's great to have you working for me here in the area. If you're not aware, he's a regional person here. And it's always fun to travel around southwest Iowa with Ryan because you go through every town. They'll give you the total history of the town, how many people live there, what the main business is, why they all immigrated there at one time, why they're there, what they're doing, and you know, sometimes I like to take a nap. It's great to have you on board, and thank you for coming tonight and helping out the Adair County Republican Party. The reason that it's so important is that you are the reason that we will elect Republicans here, not only locally, but in the state legislature and certainly congressionally, and then most important, with the presidential race. Let me just say, I've long admired Rick Santorum. I came in 1994 to Congress. That's the time that he was first elected in the House, and then later went to the lower body. But he was part of the gang of 70 reformers. He and John Boehner were in that group, and along with Jim Nussel from Iowa here. And I can't help but remember back, Rick, when I first got elected, you know, the new majority class, first time in 40 years, and you know, coming from a farm in Alexander, Iowa, which is a town of 165 people. You know, I mean, I would say, you know, I was living in the suburbs on a farm a mile outside of town. But, you know, then going to Washington, D.C., what a difference. You know, let alone, there isn't even a stop sign in Alexander. You go to Washington and you've got all this massive traffic in there. And back then, you got to remember, it's a very political time, except it is now. But at that time, you had Teddy Kennedy. When he drove, he only made left turns. And you had Newt Gingrich when he only made right turns. And if you remember back then, Marion Barry, the mayor, was the only guy in town who was trying to go straight. But anyway. That was a long trip for that one, folks. I am very excited about what has happened as far as the reapportionment, new districts, new lines being drawn. With Iowa going from 5 representatives in the House to 4, the way the lines are drawn, it put Steve King and myself together. I didn't even talk to Steve before I made a decision that it was absolutely crazy for 2 conservative Republicans to run against each other, waste resources, and let 3 liberal Democrats basically have free rides. So I made the decision by myself to move down to the new 3rd Congressional District and run in this district. Steve is a very good friend. We share our values, and you can talk to Steve. We'll just check us out. You will be pleased, I think, with the comparison, because we do work together very, very closely, and I admire Steve. And we'll continue to work together. But we are going to win this district, okay? The new 3rd district. If you look at the lay of the land of the district, it is absolutely a toss-up district. When George W. Bush in 2004 won these 16 counties, Barack Obama won these 16 counties. Kerry Branstad won these 16 counties, so it's a swing district. But the difference is, folks, this time we are going to have myself as a candidate who is not going to allow Mr. Boswell or anybody else to demonize me. If you remember last campaign, he did not run one positive ad in the whole campaign because he couldn't defend his own record. you're going to see very stark, clear differences. If you go back to the Wall Street bailout that he voted for, that I did not, if the wasteful stimulus package, over $1 trillion if you include the interest, what a disaster that has been. It did not create jobs. The president said at that time that unemployment wouldn't go above 8%. In fact, we spent this $1 trillion. Well, it's been 9.1% not today, and it doesn't appear to be getting any better. He supported cap and trade. Does anybody like to turn on the lights around here or heat your homes in the wintertime? That's 20 to 25% increase in the cost of energy, and 50 cents a gallon of gasoline or diesel fuel. It's those kind of things that go against what we are as Iowans, and what, if you understand the economy at all, what is going to happen, the consequences of those types of votes. And certainly, like Rick talked about, the president's health care plan that he voted for. If you talk to anybody in medicine today, your local doctor, your local hospital, any kind of health care providers, and they are either saying they're going to retire early, I'm going to put up a sign that says no more Medicare patients, no more Medicaid patients because of the president's health care plan. It is unbelievable what they're talking about doing to our healthcare system. There's 15 people in an unelected board there that does not have executive oversight, does not have congressional oversight, does not have judicial oversight. They are on their own to make decisions as to what your healthcare is going to be. And no one can question it under this bill. It is outrageous, and it's by the president's own experts, it's going to increase the cost of healthcare. It's not, remember him talking about bending the cost curve down if they pass this? It does just the opposite by their own experts. It is absolutely incredible, and it's going to be so destructive as far as the quality and access to health care. If you already have an overburdened system, you have 32 million more people in the Medicaid to the health care bill that this does, you're not going to have access. If you are, you're going to be sitting in line for a long time waiting to see a doctor if you can come. That's what this is all about. So you're going to see a very, very clear difference. Since Nancy Pelosi took the speakership about almost 5 years ago, they have added about $5 trillion to our national debt. And you think about today, folks, we're almost $15 trillion in debt. We have a one-year annual budget of about $3.6 trillion, about 1.4 or 1.5, and I don't know where it's going to end up exactly, is borrowed money. 40 cents out of every dollar the government spends, whether it's for your Social Security or Medicare, for a grant to some Solyndrom's outfit in California that went bankrupt. That's borrowed money. It's from China. We are going to end up looking like Greece owned by China if we continue on the path that we're on today. And I would just ask you, how many of you believe that you have had more opportunities and a better life opportunity than your parents? Raise your hand. How many of you believe, and that's everybody, how many of you believe that if we continue on this path, if we keep going as President Obama wants us to, and spend ourselves into oblivion, that our kids and grandchildren are going to have more opportunity than what we have? It isn't going to happen. I don't think we have to. I don't think we have 5 years. I think we've got to do it now. This next election is the pivotal election, I think, for the future of this country. And that's why it is so important, folks, that you, each and every one of you, get involved, do everything you can to help out locally here, because I'm going to need every single vote. Whoever our nominee for president is going to need every single vote right here. This is going to be a battleground state. But we cannot let this challenge go unanswered. We cannot back away from this fight. It is about my 4.5 grandchildren. I'm already counting the one that's coming in January, about those grandchildren. I don't need to do this. Rick doesn't need to do this. It's the same reason Craig doesn't need to do it. Well, but it's because some of us really understand and see how we cannot step back. We cannot give in. when you look at the power coming out of Washington today and what they want to do to control our economy, to control your lives. When Rick talked about the power of Washington, you know how they get their power? It's your money. If you go to Washington, everything is about money. And if you give them more money to Washington, they have more power. And I will tell you that if you take away that power, that money from the liberals, it's like you cut their arm. Their tongue. That would be nice. But they are totally helpless if they can't spend somebody else's money to usurp power from you. And that's what this battle is all about. The larger the government is, the smaller the person, the smaller the citizen. That's why this election is so important, why we've got to push forward. We see the president is for jobs proposal. Let me just tell you, if the new jobs proposal is the same as what the last job proposal is, in essence, that's exactly what he said. Another stimulus program, let me take more of your money, let me tax you more, increase your taxes, and I know how to spend it better than you do. I will tell you, if the government would get out of the way, if we could give certainty to the economy, if we knew what the tax liabilities were going to be 5, 10 years from now, if we knew what the regulatory schemes were going to be, just talking to folks back there, every time, every day in Washington, printed in the Federal Register are thousands of pages of new regulations to control your life. By bureaucrats there that have never been to Iowa, wouldn't know Greenfield from a blue field. I mean, that's the problem. There's no comprehension of the real world in Washington, D.C. And if we had certainty as far as regulations, certainty as far as taxes, certainty about what the litigation was going to be going forward, I will tell you folks, we could grow this economy, we could prosper again. But when you have an administration that wants to be activist, who wants to have control, who wants to expand the role of government in your life, it isn't going to happen. You're putting a huge wet blanket on the whole economy. And we have got to put a stop to it. There is hope coming. We are going to have a different president. We are going to win the United States Senate in this next election. Just look at the numbers in the Senate. We can get rid of Harry Reid. Certainly, we're not going to allow Nancy Pelosi back as Speaker of the House of Representatives. Please. Only do it with your help. And I'm just asking for that. And let me just close. I was over in Perry this afternoon. They have the Gold Star family. So those are families that have lost son, daughter, brother, sister, in the war since September 11, 2001. A really beautiful ceremony presentation where he's singing. They read the roll of the 88 Iowas that have been killed in service to their country since then. And I couldn't help but think back from 10 years ago. You know, this month is September 11, 10 years ago. I was in Washington. I was just about to walk up and go to the door where we stayed, just not too far from the Pentagon. And my wife said, Tom, there's been a plane just flew into the World Trade Center. I went back to Washington for a little bit. And pretty soon another one. Yeah. And then it wasn't too long after that, there was a tremendous explosion that literally shook our house. That was when the plane hit the Pentagon. And then later we heard about what happened over in Pennsylvania. It just makes me think about what this country is all about, and those terrorists, how they thought that they could destroy America by going after a symbol of our economic power up in New York with the World Trade Center, or destroy America by hitting the Pentagon, the symbol of the military power that we have. Everybody, I think, agrees that the plane went down to Pennsylvania. Rick was probably heading for the United States Capitol, which is the symbol of democracy, freedom to the rest of the world. It really tells me that they had no clue what America was about. No clue at all. They didn't understand that America is a dream. It's the American dream. And we have got to do everything we can to preserve that. We are the hope for the world. We are the hope for our kids and our grandchildren. This election is critical. I just ask for your help from me, from all the other candidates, because we can make a difference right here in Greenfield and Adair County. We can make a difference talking anywhere around the state, around the country, to whoever we need to. But we've got to do it. It's that important. Because this country is worth it, and we've got to save it. Thank you all. God bless.